it's Ashley with Budgets Made Easy, and today I'm going to talk about the mindsets that are holding you back. Let me tell you that these mindsets and limiting beliefs are really what's keeping you from paying off your debt, from saving money, and from really living the life with the choices and the options that you want. Like, do you want to quit your job and start a business? Do you want to just stay at home with your kids? Do you want to change jobs? Maybe you want to take a job that's more fulfilling and rewarding, but you can't take the pay cut. Maybe you want to retire early and travel the world, or maybe you just want to take off and travel the world whenever you want, right? Those are the things and the dreams that you can accomplish when you get out of your own way. And part of that is identifying those limiting beliefs and those money myths and those mindsets that are holding you back. So let's talk about what some of those mindsets and limiting beliefs are. Okay, some of them could be that you believe money is evil. Money is not evil, it is just a tool. And a lot of people will say, well, the Bible says that the love of money, or that the money is evil, that is the root of all evil. I totally messed that up. So that the Bible says money is the root of all evil, but it doesn't. It says the love of money is the root of all evil. So it is just a tool. It is what you do with it that shows where your values are and where you stand. Money in and of itself is not evil. It's an inanimate object. And so one thing to think about when it comes to whether money is evil, I heard Jesse Itzler say that, it's an amplifier. So whatever you do with money now, the more you have of it, you just do more of the same. So if you're already doing the wrong things, overspending, if you're greedy, it'll amplify that. It'll make it more. But if you're already generous, you love to give to people, you save, the more money you have, the more of that you will do. It's just an amplifier. Another one is that people that make a lot of money are evil, or they, had to step on a bunch of people to get there. But in reality, like 80%, I don't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but it's over 80% of millionaires are just everyday people. They're not, these big corporate executives. I mean, they can be, but the most of everyday millionaires are people like you and me. They just have saved, they live within their means, and they've invested. Okay, that's what being an everyday, as Chris Hogan says, millionaire. It is people that have $1 million saved. Not that they make $1 million a year, they have $1 million saved. And most of those people, it's in investments. It's your 401k and your retirement plans and other savings. So it's living within your means that gets you there. It's not, stepping on the little guy and doing whatever you can to make a buck. Of course, there are those people out there, but they are in the minority. Okay, most people that are millionaires are just everyday people. Another limiting belief could be things holding you back could be how your parents taught you, or what they showed you about money and what to do with it. And that could be good or bad. Like sometimes we see somebody, you can have two kids, and let's say their parents were really bad with money. They overspent all the time. They were constantly buying things they didn't need. One kid could see that as permission of that's how you should live, and they do the same thing. The other kid could see it as what not to do. And so, that can go either way, but I really want you to sit and think about how your parents handled money. What did they teach you? What did they show you? And how that is affecting what you are doing with your own finances, because it can go either way. Were your parents good with money? Were they not good with money? Did they overspend? Was debt okay? Debt is okay for the majority of Americans and really all over the world. It really is, a global thing to have debt. And so how did they handle that debt? What did they use it for? What did they teach you, if anything? Or maybe your parents didn't talk about money, and so you're not sure what to do. And so it's really important to sit and examine those mindsets and limiting beliefs that you have around money, because that is what is holding you back. Some other things that, I've heard people say that is really holding them back from reaching those big goals, like if you want to be debt free and things like that, is I will always have debt, or I will always have a car payment, I will always have my student loans. You don't have to always have those things. You can pay them off. You can get a cheaper car, one you can afford, or one that you can pay off a lot faster. You don't need a brand new decked out luxury SUV. You don't need those things. You want those things. And so it really comes down to examining, needs and wants, and what you actually need and what you can actually get by without. Some other things is your student loans. If you focus on paying them off, you can get them paid off. Like, you don't have to have them for 30 years. Like, if you consolidated like I did, it was like a 30-year payment. I paid on it for 10 years and I only paid off $3,000. Like, it was insane. But I didn't realize that until I realized I could pay them off, and I could pay them off early. Like, it never really crossed my mind to pay them off. Like, I paid the minimum payment plus a little extra, but it didn't like barely make a dent in it because the interest rate was so high, the terms were so long. So just know your options and know that you don't have to live with that debt forever. You can do things to pay it off. Another thing that I see people do is that they will take out a consolidation loan or a HELOC. They'll refinance their mortgage, things like that, and pay off a bunch of debt and think that they paid off debt, and then they're debt free. If you do that, you're not debt free and you haven't done anything. And what I have seen in every single one of those cases is that within 2-3 years, they are back in debt with more debt than they had in the first place and consolidated, in addition to the debt they still had that they just moved. And so that's really not doing anything. And so that's why it's not encouraged and not advised in most situations. You might be saving a little bit on interest, but that doesn't matter if you go and rack up a bunch more debt. So think about how you're thinking about debt and if you are saying those things to yourself, because it is holding you back. Like, you don't have to always have student loans. You don't always have to have a car payment. You can save money. So are you telling yourself, I don't make enough money, I can't save? Things like that. If you want to save money, you will find a way to do it. It really comes down to how much you want something, and how hard you're willing to work for it. Now, keep in mind, as a mom of 3, I'm saying that as encouragement and depending on your season of life, because if you literally don't have the time and the support at home to work 2 jobs, that is okay too. Like, it'll just take you longer, but you still have to have an intentional plan to get where you want to go. And just know that, right now I can't do all those things to do it a little bit faster, and that is okay. Know that I will still get there. It's just going to take me a little bit longer. Or maybe once my kids are in school, I can work another job or something to that effect. So there is a balance to it. So don't think that I think that as a busy mom of 3, you should be out working 3 jobs and screw your kids, you never need to see them. That's not what I'm saying at all. So I'm just saying, evaluate your lifestyle, what the things that you're saying to yourself and how bad you want it, and what you're willing to sacrifice right now to do it faster. If you were to work an extra job in the evenings, it doesn't have to be every day, and you could pay off your debt in 1.5 years, is that worth the sacrifice right now so that you can be debt free and do what you want with your kids in 1.5 years? 2 years, because that's really not that much time. But your situation may be different. Maybe your kids are in high school and they're getting ready to leave, and you don't want to spend those last year or 2 years not seeing them, because then they're going to be in college and who knows when you're going to see them. So, keep that in mind, that I'm not telling you to like work day and night and never see your kids. It's a balancing act and depends on your priorities and your situation and your family. Like, do what you need to do. But of course, the more you can do to speed up that process, the faster it'll be, and you can move on from it. So, but there is always a balancing act in doing all those extra things. And of course, there's always other ways to save money too. But you can only save so much. Like, once you can increase your income, that will do things so much faster and easier. But you still have to be intentional with that income. You can't just mindlessly spend it or you won't make any progress. So, it really takes an intentional plan and knowing that it's possible, knowing you can do it, and that it's worth it, that it's worth doing. Those are really the things that will hold you back and will help you go faster once you can get through those mindsets and those mental hurdles to get there. And I will talk to you guys next week.